All right. Hello. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good morning. I said it all backwards, but that's okay. We are here live at the Face of a Hero show. Buenas tardes, Agustin. How are you?
You are
Okay.
freezing.
You just froze on me, but there we go.
We froze on each other. I don't know what's.
Well, we are here. It is Happy Thursday, Thankful Thursday, and we have an amazing show, a powerful testimony, a powerful guest that's coming on that is making a difference in the entire nation and maybe the world. And I'm thankful that he made some time to come on and tell us his truth, his story of what happened to him. And how are you doing over there, Agustin?
Well, I'm just getting a little sinus congestion, a little cold, but no biggie, nothing that knocked me off my feet.
Or as they say, no coronavirus.
Oh
I
no,
haven't heard it said like that in a while.
for real.
Yeah, no. So it's been a busy, hectic day for me, but I appreciate busy because there's always something great happening behind that busyness, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm glad that you got this wonderful guest, Darrell Jones, that's going to come on in just a few minutes. He is waiting for us to bring him up. Anything you'd like to share real quick before we bring him up?
Well, in the for me, my week is like you said. Your week has been busy. My week has been busy, but I have that 17-year-old that keeps me busy.
On your toes.
Yeah, keeps me young. Me working on some projects and that. Not going to say nothing right now. I want to jinx it, but I'm okay. Like I said, I'm busy. My focus is more on helping the next generation, which is my daughter and also some others. And like yourself, we mentor, and that's what we do. We mentor, we help people along, and that's what makes the world go around. Hopefully, we can change the life of one person and make things.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
as I had said, I want to I want to say this. Very proud. My daughter, like I said, that I'm behind her all the time. Didn't have a chance to tell you this, but I'll tell you this right now, live.
Okay,
Her
share.
her dance company is going to be performing at the Bears game halftime show.
What? Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. I'm gonna get tickets. I'm not a football player fan or into sports, but for that, I would go check that out.
Yeah. So
Share the
anybody.
details. Share the details. Congratulations, Autumn.
Yeah. So she is.
Congratulations, Dad.
She's doing. Like I said, she keeps me busy. She's practicing tomorrow night, Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, and this is what she does. Keeps her out of trouble.
Right? You know what? And that's what a lot of parents need to do. Get their kids involved in activities and doing things that they can enjoy, but keep them off the street, keep them out of trouble. That is
That's
also
right.
so needed. Okay. I guess Agustin, my co-host, is having technical difficulties because now I can't see him. But
No,
uh,
I'm texting our guest.
I cannot see you. But we're about to bring our guest come up. He's here already. He's
Oh,
just
he's
waiting
here.
to
Okay.
leave. Oh yeah, he's been here. That's why I said we have him
Um,
here. Would you like to share something before we bring him up?
okay.
He is here. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Wonderful. Let's bring up our guest. Let's see. I think he's working with his phone right now. Okay. Here we go. Good afternoon. Good evening, Brother Darrell Jones. How are you? Actually, if you can turn your phone around the other side as you had it originally, that would be great. And hopefully you can hear us okay.
Okay, good. I'm good. I'm good. How are
Um,
you?
can you turn the phone the way you had it? That way it's full complete screen, Mr.
I,
Jones.
Landscape.
okay, let's see. I'm going to work on that. I do no technology. I didn't even do
Oh, no,
anything.
no. The way you had the phone the other way, this way.
No, I have it the same way I
You
had it.
have
I'm
it.
just not sure why it's
Okay, you have it like this, right?
no. But I can try to turn it like that, I guess.
If not, don't worry. We got you. Let's see. There we
There you go.
go. We see you even closer. Come closer to us. Brother Darrell Jones, he is one amazing young man that is out there being the hero to many, many people. And to us, to me, it is a blessing to have him here on the Face of a Hero because he is that, a hero. And
Oh,
thank you, Brother Darrell, for
I'm
coming.
trying to work with you guys on this adjustment because I got this little
You're right
thing
there.
that's holding it.
You got
So hopefully
just
that's working for you.
Yep, it's working. Just
Good.
right there. You're good. You're good. Thank you so much for coming on the Face of a Hero show. And this is the platform for you. This is the time that you tell what happened to you. Tell the truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God. And I'm sure that that's what they had you do many years ago when you had to put your hand up. And unfortunately, you were telling the truth, but somebody else was not. I was thinking you want to bring him up since you brought him on today. Go ahead.
Yes. So Darrell Jones was wrongfully. Well, the backstory is Darrell Jones was wrongfully convicted. And he spent 29 years.
No. I
Thirty,
spent I spent 32 years,
32
basically
years.
35 in total.
Oh wow. Okay. 35 years. That
In
is
total, basically, yeah.
life. You're a young man, so you must have got
You were
put
18,
10.
right?
Yeah, I was 18, exactly.
You're 18 years young. Wow, wow. Mm-mm-mm. And actually, I'm going to say it and may not come out right, but considering all those years that you were in a penitentiary, you look great.
I appreciate that.
Or some would say you don't look like what you've been through, and we want to hear what you went through. We want to hear uh, your truth, your story, because it's your testimony that is helping many others. And hopefully, during this show, you are touching someone's life, whether it's a parent that has someone in prison, or someone that's been out and is fighting for their exoneration as we speak. Um, and the same thing has happened to them. So, welcome to the Face of a Hero, Brother Darrell.
Thank
And
you.
giving, sorry to interject, and also giving somebody hope that they will be exonerated. I'm sorry. Go ahead now.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, um, tell us a little bit about who Darrell Jones is as a person. Who is Mr. Jones?
Well, maybe two things, right? One of those things we talk about exoneration. So I want to be clear about something. I think people have a total different idea than I have in regards to what being free is versus being exonerated, right?
Right.
And I may have been exonerated because that's human language, right? That's the language they put on an action that they did wrong, right? This is the
Correct.
title. But free is an entirely different thing. So, when I hear that, I've never been free. I've come home to people themselves that are not free. I've come home to a larger prison with people in prison who don't even recognize that this is what's happening to them. You understand that? Because I've been in that system so long. So I just had to say that, you know what I mean? So when you say tell your story, I look at a story as, Mickey Mouse is a story. You know what I mean? Malcolm X gets to be a story. Martin Luther King gets to be a story. And what's unique about those stories is that Martin Luther King to this day, we consistently saying, and I want you to understand why I'm saying this. Martin Luther King has a dream, right? And then I come home. Now I've had that same dream he's had because I was in a situation where you're going to have nothing but that dream of freedom. So you really understand what he was having as a dream, okay? But then I come home and I see people to this day, it's Martin Luther King Day. We're going to celebrate having a dream. And I'm not really kind to coming home and joining this society in the idea of having a dream, because if you guys didn't wake up Martin Luther King's dream all these years, that's no longer a dream. That's a nightmare. That's a coma. You understand that here's a dream we can't wake up. I don't want to be a part of that. So I really don't have a story. I have an experience that I hope blocks a lot of the things that we see going on today and prevent someone else from going down that path, right? Or being brought to that path.
Right.
You understand, like a runaway slave, right? So I was captured in that. There's a whole bunch of traps. So I don't see it as a story, because if it was the story, to be honest, my sister, I like people to communicate with me, and I communicate. But, you know, I go so many places and speak. I've done all the colleges, you know, a lot of those things. And I tired of it, right? So I wasn't even doing interviews or really out at all, because I tired myself of being in a situation where I'm the show pony of innocence. Like, I realized as I paid attention to it that a lot of people are profiting off the idea that I was innocent. Meaning, when the news want to talk to people or when they want to do big stories, they don't want to hear the actual reality of what I experienced and learned. It's not just about what I experienced. You know, everybody experienced something. Moses had to experience something. Jesus experienced something, right? But there was for the goal of, what do you know now? That's why we have a Quran, a Bible, a Torah, because it's, what do you know now? Here's the book. I'm trying to tell people, I'm not very much interested in being your story. I'm interested in giving you basically these stones that I had to go up on this mountain and get and say, this is what's happening to you. That's the gift that God gave me, to be able to say, this is really what's happening to you. I'm more concerned with that. My story would be their story. So when people say that, I say, ask me about their story. Their story would be Darrell Jones, 18. I can sum it right up. Darrell Jones, 18 years old, convicted life, you know, and I had natural life. And most people, you know, Massachusetts is one of those places where I was caught up, is one of those places that celebrate the idea that they don't have the death penalty. And a lot of places do that, but they have natural life. I had natural life, meaning I was never coming home, no matter how you did it. So they gave me the death penalty where I could see myself dying. You know how many lonely nights there were when I was saying, man, you could have just injected me and this would be over. Because I'm watching my grandmother pass. I'm watching my son leave. I'm watching everything that I love go. So that is not a story to me. Their story is the time that I served, how I served it, where it was. Darrell Jones made it home. And if you go Google those stories, those will be the stories. But that's not the story I'm telling. You understand that? The story that I'm telling is the story of how what affected me affected you. And I want to give you room to do what you're doing, but I want to give you an example of that. How did it affect you? When I came home, I noticed all of these programs, like everybody out here is fighting for grant money. That's what it looks like. It looks like cheese that they've given our people.
Come on now, you
right?
better say
Black,
it.
white, Latino, everywhere. And see, when you've been where I've been so long, you can see it better. You know, when most people don't probably know this, but if you go and cut your bathroom light off and stay in the dark, you're going to see the light better than you would had you been in the light the entire time. It's going to hit you. So I'm coming from the dark and I see the light differently. And what I take note of is that here we are, you know, defund the police. Let's go down the line. I was an advocate for it for reasons that made sense to me. Because when I was out doing the marches, you know, I was participating. When I was out doing the marches, what I really recognized was, we're out here marching, talking about, you're saying defund the police. I see more police out here than I ever saw. You guys are not getting it. We're saying defund. They're making more money than they ever made because they got more overtime than they ever got. So for all these marches across the country, there had to be more police out than there ever were. They made more money then than they would make in overtime. That's how the prison plays it. You know, the prison will do something smart, right? The guards, if they want overtime, they'll know a beef is going on, let the wrong guys out at the wrong time, and they'll do that at 2:45. No one ever wants to hear me say that and say, let's go check all the records when the fights happen. They'll do it right when it's shift change, because when it's shift change, nobody can get in, nobody can get out. So the guards that are in have to stay. That's the quick overtime. You understand that? This is how this society's working. And I'm so interested in making note of that, the experience, more than what happened to me, because that Google does that. Most people, when you tell them what happened to you, they're going to Google it anyway, right? So Google is deciding the process of what happened to many innocent men and women across this country and everything we're hearing. Some form, not particularly just Google, but every form of this is laying it out for us. Everybody can press a button and their information is right there. No good God would put your information right there. Devil do that. He give you enough So you'd be all over the place. But no,
Come on now.
God's going to do that. He's going to put it somewhere for people that deserve to have it, to make a move with it. And if you don't want to believe somebody's destined for that, then that's, you understand that? That's what my suffrage was about. So I need no one to identify whether I'm going to be a prophet, whether I see myself as that this day. No one can identify that to me, because I always recognize that the first person that has to see me is me, because every time I got in that prison mirror, there was nobody but me. So I'm going to stick to that and count on me to know what I know, to protect me and mine and anybody else that wants to hear that. You understand? So that's interests me more, to have those kind of dialogues than what happened to you. You know what I mean? I had an all white. I'll give people that. I'll make it simple. They're gonna Google it anyway. But
well, we can Google all day long, Darrell, and it's never the same in hearing it from the person that experienced it than me reading it. I'd rather hear it from the person that's been there, done that it's happened to, whatever information they want to share, than me to go and read it from somewhere. Because just like what I share for 13 plus years, if not longer than that, is because of what I lived. I didn't read it from somebody's book. I didn't read it from a newspaper. It's what I lived, because you're the expert. It's happened to you. It didn't happen to me. It didn't happen to Agustin. We can't tell it. The only way they can is the person that's experienced it. And so in hearing what you've experienced, I mean, I've spoken to some where they've been in the hole and it's completely dark. There's no one, as you know, to be there but you in the four walls. That's it. And a lot of people don't know what that's like until they hear it from someone that has been there. I can't imagine it, because I've never.
But it's not. I don't see prison the way like we see prison. You know what I mean? Like people see prison. I don't see prison that way. Prison is an aftermath to things that happen. So I'll give you an example when I say aftermath. The most intelligent people that are accepted out here as being intelligent are people that cannot, that cannot follow through on things that need to occur, right? The valuable people, the people that we say are in place to get us to where we're going. No one does the homework, right? So we always find out later. It's like a woman married to a man, and the most ironic thing, and then she says 25 years later, oh, him and I, you know, we have this difference. Something happened, you know, we found out. No, you didn't find out anything. The person was the same person since you met them. You started paying attention because out in this world, the whole world's entertained by television. So you're not even, human beings don't even communicate out here, right? We're in prison. I don't have all this access to this all day. So we're communicating. We're communicating. People out here, they've lost access to the idea of what communication is. So they're not communicating. So your leaders are not communicating with you, because if they were, they'd be calling you now and saying, you know what, we're on television telling all the kids the justice system don't work. It's all over the place, right? This ain't working, that ain't working. And now they've all bowed down to the point of, let's say, a Trump. And they say, we don't know what to do, right? And then I go, you know why? Because God didn't equip you what to do. You're back turners. I use that as an example for all of the religious people, and I want to get this out to them, because I talk about religion in this form. I saw my God. You understand that? Like when people say you see your God, I didn't see my God. I didn't come in no designs and none of that. He literally lived in me and said, you see, I see you suffering, and this is what this suffering is about, and I had to put that together somehow, right? He's an active God, right? So let's look at, I'll take you why I see it that way. My separation of state and church and everybody else is because when you really look at it, let's say you went to church. How many of us can call our grandparents, right now, our grandparents, their mothers and family members, and if they were in the church right now, they would say, if the pastor said, who been here with me a long time and really been with me, right? Our grandmothers, they'd be saying, I got 25 years. I've been here 40 years, right? We're not good idealists when it comes to who's going to get us anywhere, right? Because when you look at that and you go, if my grandmother has been talking to the same pastor for 20 years and she ain't got the message yet, he ain't the deliverer of the message.
Come on now.
What God is going to make you keep reading the same book? And if your kid was in 12th grade right now, and every year they were like, he's still reading, and you'd be like, he's supposed to be in college. You wouldn't go for that.
That's right.
So it's all, to me, is what we're doing is prophetizing off of each other, right? Even spiritually. And I just want to warn a lot of the churches out there and everybody that's getting rich because money ain't gonna do what you think it's gonna do. This is the account that I worked on in prison and one I hope that I can maintain out here. I kept realizing I didn't have any money to go to clubs and do and experience all that stuff or buy boats and cars. So I started adding up the money where I needed because I figured I'm going to see my God. So my spiritual account is rich. And I came out here and I said, they're all spiritually bankrupt. I'm
Yes.
rich. Let's go at it. So they can't contain a Trump because they don't want to put anybody in front of Trump or anybody on their ear that can deal with a Trump. And to be able to deal with a Trump is the first to understand and know that I lived around 1,000 Trumps and he's the minute level of what we deal with. He wouldn't last in our system, no prison system, an hour, right? With that knowledge of saying, then how is he taking everybody's children for this long ride? You understand? And how are we sitting back as a people? See, this is what my case is. When you say my experience with prison, this is my experience with prison. When I'm talking to you about what I got, the gift that I got to bring home with me to recognize what's going on. That's the gift. Here's an example. Everything I see out here that we say is a children problem, we never had a child's problem. I grew up with kids coming in the prison system, generations, white, black, Asian. I grew up with them. We have an adult problems, right? And I'll give you an example of it. So it's no different than you and anybody else. Let's just say these are the roads of life, right? And I ain't get my nails done or anything, but these are the roads of life. And this is road 1, and this is road 2, and this is road 3, and that's road 4. My thumb is road 5, right? Let's just say these are roads of life. They got yellow lines, just like a road. Pick a road. What road you want to be on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just what road?
Your index, whatever that is on the other side.
Okay, so we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whichever way of turning, right? What number?
2.
2. What number, my brother?
What number, Agustin? You're freezing, Agustin.
I know. I see you guys freezing 3. Number 3.
Okay, number 3. All right, do me a favor, right? And I would advise anybody else that probably picked the road. This is what I learned. In prison, that's exactly what they did to me. That's what they did in court. That's what they did to my family, and that's what they're going to keep doing. They laid out an option, bam, right? And that option was my grandmother and my mother and everybody telling us, if you go to school, you can be somebody and be good and be somebody. She didn't know to say, you don't really need to do all that to be somebody. You was born somebody. That's why you got a name, and now go work that. That didn't happen. When you're picking these roads, I look at adults and I go, because I gave you these as the only option, nobody ever, I've been to Harvard, I've been everywhere with this. They never think to go, these are the roads of life. What's on those roads? Let me ask a question. We take the option that's given. And because we are taking the option that's given, you'll always have an option between a Trump, a Biden, the people under them, and you'll never have an option about changing the prison system nor your prison. Because I don't think people that's out here living a life in their own prison is going to be able to do anything for us in prison, to be honest with you. I think we do better without the help, because you don't seem to have this part locked down yet.
Right. That's sad but true. And you're speaking truth. And there's only
there's only one truth. In terms of the church, and I apologize, just to be clear on that, I was trying to emphasize the idea that, here's an example. And I stress these things for a reason. I try to make them simplistic as possible. If you and I are in the hospital, and this brother's in the hospital, right? You got insurance. You have insurance, these type of things. When you go to the hospital and you're watching Netflix, if you got well on Friday, and your insurance company knows you got well on Friday, and the hospital has said you're well on Friday, and you told them on Friday night, I think I'm going to chill and watch the rest of this series Saturday or Sunday. I ain't really going nowhere. Your insurance company, everybody else is going to say, we don't know nothing about that. You're paying that, right? You understand that? You're paying that. The church is supposed to be a hospital for sinners. You go in the hospital, you get well. Are people never getting well? Do we need a new church? Because you guys, if somebody is pastoring you, when you do a lot of pastoring, you need to start seeing yourself as a cow. That means they want you to graze what's being planted for you, not for you to grow. We're supposed to be planters. That's different.
Right. That's right. Different. That is so true. And there are some churches like that. And I'm sure you've seen them as well. And thank you for that. That I'm sure somebody out here in the Face of a Hero show needs to hear this, or it's confirmation to someone out there. So you're talking freedom in different ways, and I get you. I always say there's people out here that are in a prison right here.
Right.
They're living in a prison and they're not
Daily.
liberated. They're not
Daily.
freedom. They're not free at all.
Right.
They're not
Daily.
free at all.
Well, you
So
can't be free if you can't understand what freedom is, right? You know what I
correct.
mean? What is freedom? Is it a legality, right?
Mm.
What is freedom? It's teaching our kids different, right? So what school did you go to?
You're asking
Not
me?
not getting your business, like, did you go to college or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. I went to a private high school and I went to college for business
You as well,
management.
my brother?
High school.
Right. So let's just say the high school, right? Let's just say I didn't do any of that, right? And I go see all the people that went to these things. It's so systematic to me because I'm glad in some degree that I was able to learn the way I was able to learn, because it looks like everybody else is paying a lot of money to go to the same place to learn the same education, and then it becomes like a lottery of which one's going to get the job and who's going to be the big person.
Isn't that
Because
true?
if everybody's going to Harvard seeing the same professor for 10 years, they're all learning the same thing, and then it's like, okay, let's get the next group to learn. I don't consider that learning. I
Mm-mm.
consider that consumers. You're buying knowledge that you can't even apply, right?
Come on.
You
Yep.
understand? And
Yep.
and and so for me, when I'm
Right.
talking to people in that arena, sure, you might have all the accolades, you may have all the paperwork and all the things while I was gone. I went to the same school Jesus went to. I went to a better college. See, if you look up, wait, what school did Jesus go to? What college did Moses go to?
Right.
Right?
Right.
There's one
Come
word
on.
for this. There's one word for this. AUTODIDACT. That word exists out of that exists because it means one who's self-taught. So if someone couldn't be self-taught, there would be no such a word. So I'm coming out of that school. You understand that? Where we didn't go get it from somebody. We actually was given it like little Torahs, and some of us
Yes.
are given it to be able to say, now go to work. I'm more concerned about not doing the work,
Come
right?
on.
And failing at that. I'm not going to fail at anything else out here because this stuff is simplistic. I'm more concerned of, did I do the job? Even if I touch someone on the way and make mistakes, things I don't know, I'm gonna make many mistakes. You know what I mean? Meeting women out here was a mistake, and all kinds of stuff. Anything could be a mistake for me.
Right.
But in
Right.
those mistakes, I charge it to, hey, be constant and understand I don't know. I know, but I don't know. But what I do know, I'm not moving off of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not joining someone else in their happiness or unhappiness, rather,
Like
because
that.
they don't know I know. There's
Yeah.
no way one man is going to be on the television that we're going to talk about him every day. And there's no way for brothers out here. There's no way. There's no way. I'm so disappointed. You want to talk about what it feels like to be in prison? This prison, I'm telling you what it feels like. That one, I understood better than this one. You know why? Because we have codes, we have conducts. If you Google a prison right now, you don't see no racist dudes, mass stabbings on the blacks in prison, or the Latinos. They went crazy and the guards just got stabbed up today. Well, these are the worst of the worst. These are the people that do all the worst that come to prison. How come that's not happening in
In there.
prison? We have riots, we have those, but we have
Mhm.
a structure. It can be the worst racist white dude versus a black dude versus everybody that's a gang leader, and everybody has a say in too much. There's a limit. It could be the police versus us, and all of us have a limit, right? And the question to all of this authority out here is, it's real ironic to me. I think we need to change the police. If you want to change the police for something, I hate to say it, but it's true, then maybe you need to change them for prison guards, because it's amazing that I was in prison all that time and we see all kind of violence, and prison guards, they don't be walking around with no guns, but somehow they
Mm.
maintaining us. So that has to be a
Mm.
character thing.
Right.
So the government is studying the wrong thing. How come the police out here got to shoot and kill everybody to get any control? And we got the worst of the worst in there, and those guards can somehow keep a clear day. We have a structure in this world, and these people that are on their news shows and CNNs, and I've been on all of them, right? When it comes to that language, they don't call you back on that, because their thing is they don't want the truth. So that's why I'm, with you, with everybody, I'm saying, if we create our own link, which is the strongest link of news,
Right.
then I can refer people to you. You can refer people. We can know and say we have our own. We can build those networks. Black folks are always saying, where do I apply? We always, all of us of culture, all poor people. There is no, didn't know. It's so crazy, the race part, because we know what it is. Didn't know black people. You watch Archie Bunker, that shows you my age or whatever it is, right? But Archie Bunker and things like that, right? You would hear George Jefferson say honky. He'd get out the nigger, right?
Yep.
And that's what it was.
Yep.
Okay?
So
Today,
true.
everybody would deny they saying hunky and nigger. But it was right there on television. That's exactly what we
He
were
was
doing.
very racist on that show.
No, we were blatantly showing you this is who we are. This is how this white home is over here with Archie.
Right.
And he's got a good wife, right? He's got a good
Mhm.
wife. She really ain't
Mhm.
with that. His son-in-law don't believe in nothing he's saying. And that is really American families that have mixed cultures in their family. And now they're all divided because they can't all figure out what to do with that. You
Mhm.
understand that? Because we know, just like people who have family members in jail, you got congressmen. We're not just talking about Biden, congresswomen who their families are in a prison right now, and you don't hear that every day. And everybody's been touched by it, right? But to keep your esteem out here, to be somebody,
Right.
you got to have all the accolades and paper stamps that they
Right.
told you were
Right.
somebody. I don't come from that. My grandmother already told me who I was.
Come on
I'm doing
now.
just fine with that.
They're looking for validation and everything else when God
Constantly.
already validated you.
Constantly, and they wear the wrong gear. That's why I'm not at the churches. I deal with the nation. They know me, right? But my philosophy is this is you're reading the wrong Bible, you're reading the wrong Quran, Torah, you're reading the wrong books. You're not the brothers that God was talking about, because no men, white, black, any kind of man who saw evil and knew it was evil and then said, wait a minute, this man is attacking. It's a reason that all this stuff is landed in a black judge here. It's a black judge there, because this is what we can risk to pop and kill and get it going. Everybody knows this, right? But I look at the men and go, are you telling me? Because that's what we would have did in the joint. If something would happen to one of us brothers, something would happen to one of the white guys in prison versus the God of somebody doing something, we come together. Even the main racists, we're going to be like, nope, he's right on this one.
Interesting.
Do you understand that?
So in prison, there was unity against whatever was wrong.
So I know we had lagging, so I was pausing myself. But we don't have that. You see what I'm saying? We don't have that. So I look at it and go, okay, let me say this. I'm gonna say it because I mean it. I'm really looking at my sisters and going, you guys are missing it, because the men are not gonna do it, because if they were, it would be men who would say, we got all these nations and groups and black organizations. And I go, well, is anybody in those organizations, black organizations, the men gonna say, hey, they threatening our women now, let's hit the streets too, just like they are. We'll just stand out here until we get the busing before you'll threaten. Whether she's a DA, I should be the one saying, I don't care about that DA, I don't care about any of that. No, I understand bigger than what happened to me. You understand it? And what's happening here. And I'm going, if I died behind that judge, I could live with that, even knowing I was innocent in prison, because I'd be saying to myself, no, the real devil's moving now. You understand that? He not only will take a few of my people and be innocently in prison, if we're not paying attention, and I don't think many people are, he's going to do everything he's saying. If he's leading in the polls, and we're not just talking about a Trumpology is everybody's ology, because if all these other people know that all this fraud, this Democrats, if we know that, what is our application? What are we doing about it, right? You want some money for your programs? I'll tell your listeners again, as I keep telling people, here's your money from all across the country. Right now, if there's a person out there that has a program, and we're trying to have a program for children, I'm going to give you leaders the best advice to go get the money, right? Here's where the money is. I went to prison. So say I'm in prison 32 years, 35 total, another guy 45 years, another guy 25 years, and let's just look at that. All of that is taxpayers' money. And then it took 45,000, then it went up a year for me to be in prison. Then I came home. I'm not the guy, right? So I don't see no one out here in this public saying, give me my money back. That would be fraud. No. Anywhere else in the world, that would be fraud. A product was not what it was supposed to be. We used your money to do it. And then you got to pay all the innocent men off of my back again. And we ain't going to get nothing back.
Come on.
See, they got to pay us too. So now that you're getting hit triple time, and that's going right under your nose. because we're not
Yep.
on a national stage talking about what we should be talking about. We're being
Exactly.
show ponies. Hey, I'm an innocent man. They would get us on there, and brothers are more worried about, like, do I sound like them? Here's what I learned in school and in prison, and we're gonna articulate it, right? We're gonna do the same thing they do, and you just ain't gonna get up here and, you know, tell the truth. And the truth would be, I'm hurting. I see what you're doing. You're trying to hurt me, and I know the law enough to know this one thing. I don't care about no other law. I know this one's supposed to occur. The right to pursue my happiness. We don't look at that constitutional line. America doesn't look at that and say, we want to file against this country. Wait a minute. Life, liberty, and the right to pursuit of happiness. If I see a bunch of unhappy people, then that means you're not pursuing your happiness. That right has been violated. We're not going after them where we think. You understand that the defund the police,
Right.
more money. We're not paying attention because our leaders are people saying, hey, listen, are you watching me? Too many people want to be watched rather than helped.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
what's really happening. So I, as one of the innocent men out here and some of the others, I've taken a different turn in terms of that, because I realized some people want to be leading things. Some people want to be a part of that. Some people want to be seen because they never found themselves to do that. I can always walk away from that, because until I see it doing something, you're not going to tell me we're doing something and I live on the same street and 5 kids died yesterday, and I'm still going to convince you that I'm your leader and things are getting better.
Yeah. Yep. That is so
That's
true.
a disrespect. And that's just what's going on. So some things you have to get away from, because even as an innocent party, we're not the innocent voice. Someone is speaking for us at innocent. We have projects all over, but someone is speaking for us, saying they represent that person, and this is how it goes, and this is how much you should donate. But most people don't know, if you donating and all these places are donating to all these organizations, I never seen a dime of that. I never got a check from anybody. Right? So when you think about that and you go ask other innocent men from all these donations going to all these organizations about us, how much did they get from that? What we're doing is paying other people's jobs that we don't see. Lawyers, we're doing a lot of shit that we don't see, and we're still making everybody money except ourselves, and we're not even spending our spiritual account. I'm not that slow.
Say that.
Wrong guy.
Say
Wrong
that.
guy. Wrong
Say
guy.
that. Thank you. Thank you for that, Brother Darrell. And that's just speaking truth, not speaking from the hip. And I hope that some of you have gotten that light bulb to turn on, because that is so true. And what I've seen society and politicians is not helping to teach to think for yourself, is teaching them to think like them.
Right.
And you said it, people are not doing their own research. They're going by what somebody wrote, what somebody said, instead of doing their own research. But we're not teaching people to do that. We're teaching
No, we're
them.
not teaching people even how to live. Have you ever,
Thank you.
okay, in your entire life, right? In your entire life, have you ever, do you know what Mass Ave is in Boston? Mass Ave?
No.
Okay, you know any homeless places? Sure you do. You see homeless people every day. In Boston, they might have Mass Ave. Chicago, they have this, and these are blocks where people have tents, like in Seattle, right? They live there.
That's downtown Chicago every day.
Right? So think about it, right? Okay.
Call it-
This is common sense. My argument, if I was on a debate stage, I would let them give me every market breakdown they want to give me. And that's what they do to society. And they sound so intelligent to you that you just get caught up. My math just says to me, real simple, here's where I see the problem at. I see deer, I see bear, I see cats, I see stray dogs. I ain't never, ever seen one of them on the corner with a sign saying, help me feed my family. And how are they doing it? They've been here for generations without us, wolves, all kind of animals, living while we building on top of them, digging, knocking over rocks and blowing things up. And not one animal has ever paused us saying, hey, I need to eat. And you're telling me human beings can't figure out how to feed other human beings? That sounds ridiculous. See, when you get to watch a world, I got to do something that people can't compete if you use it that way. Malcolm X said prison was second to college if you use it that way. I used it that way. I had it on my wall. I used it as that. And what I understood was the people out here, they're not interested in learning. They're interested in hearing something that they feel they can say they learned. That's a difference. There's a big difference. You see what I'm saying? Knowledge and knowing is different. It's the same way as picking one of those roads. Constant knowledge is constant. So Trump and his team and people like that, it's not just that. We got to really get ahead of this. They are in a situation right now where they are out trumping you only because We are aftermath specialists, like the police in our community. Have you ever noticed? I don't think any police have ever pulled up on you and just stopped by your car and was like, any kind of crime going to happen? You good? Right? They don't do that. They come after the call. We have based our whole life on aftermath specialists. Oh, my son got shot, and then the pastor's going to come in. He was a good boy. Aftermath. Somebody's supposed to be there ahead of that.
Yeah. Ahead of
So
that.
all of our leaders before were ahead. That's why they all took the bullet, right? The people that we're dealing with right now, they know the armor's not made for them. What does it say in the Bible? Hey, the buckle of faith, right? The shield and the helmet. All that stuff goes in front of you. It don't say nothing about nothing on your back for running.
Yep.
So we got a bunch of runners. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out where the people is like, we're going to do something about it. And we don't have to do violence. We don't have to do that. All we have to do is get on the stage and talk what we know and stop letting people that don't know speak for us, because we know everybody they put on that television to tell us what Trump is doing don't know. You've been a criminal. You've been around criminals like Trump. No, you read about them. You went to school. You studied them. And then your CIA studied them. Everything you did is a study of that person. I lived with that dude. You see what I'm saying? That mass killer, that rapist. I lived with him. I know that that is inaccurate. I hear him every day. I see him. I know what you're saying is not what he would respond to. And I understand that the other mass killer that's hearing you is not going to respond. And you talking about we must take guns, all that. They're not going to respond to any of that. All they want to know is the reason why they put their gun down. And you built a country where no one's putting anything down. Our kids, the clothes they stealing, anything until they hear the word, how much am I getting out of that big pot y'all got?
Right.
That's what you done did to your kids. They saying it's money involved. We all in for the money. We ain't getting none from you. We gonna get it how we got to get it.
That's right.
That's what you put them in situation in.
And the bottom line, that's what it is, and that's how we're all living these days. And
we're all living that. You know what I mean? We're living it. Everything. We're the greatest consumers, right? We never had money. People who have money, they're not consuming. Like let's just look at this guy that owns what's his name here that owns he changed it to X, Twitter, right?
Yeah.
No, let's just look at that, right? You think he woke up this morning at all thinking, damn, I gotta get that gas though. He didn't have to think one day about that. Damn, I gotta take that trash out. Damn, these kids am I gonna have enough for the end of the month to do that?
Worry about a thing.
You understand that?
Yep,
So when someone else is living like that, we've given everybody else the bag, right? When we say get the bag, we've given them the bag and then said, play us like a strip club and throw some down on us, and then we get the dancing.
Yep, making the rich richer, and we're staying broke. Poor.
We get the dance. Listen, where else in the world would they take our young women, right, and totally convince them, hey, don't even say nothing romantic in a song at all. Now, they see everything that's happening on Facebook, the guys with the guns and threatening each other. They see all that, right? This is the government. They see it. If I see it, they see it, right? It suits them. You understand it? Because this is the babysitter. Like in prison, a lot of people don't know. It's the most foolish thing. They send a guy in prison in a block with a guy like me and other guys who are doing natural life. This guy's doing 3 natural lives. He's doing 5. That guy got 5 years. He's in the same block. He shouldn't even be in the same block. I fought that in prison. He should never even meet us because he has an opportunity to go home. He shouldn't be learning. This is crime school here. You understand that? This is, no matter how you put it, you're going to learn things you never wanted to learn. And if you don't have no self-control, you're going to try to apply those things, right? So when they say, why are guys going back and forth from jail? Because systematically, it's been applied to them. The drugs have been dealt to them in prison. Everybody's talking about this fentanyl. I'll put my life on it. You go ship this to every news and anyone, I'll take this challenge and I'll prove to you before you guys even knew what a fentanyl probably was out here, that was already going in prison.
It was already in the prison.
All that stuff comes in way before you guys even know, in clever ways. Stickers on your body, all that right there. Now, they would tell you that the visitors bringing it, right? Visitors can't bring that much. You understand? I should know. You had a cell phone. The visitors, that's not how that's going down. So we create the drug addicts, right? Knowing that, fire a couple of guards. It's all in the paper. Get rid of them, and then don't deal with the circumstance that that guy right there was put on drugs. People are not even fighting back saying, I want to know if my son was ever on any of those drugs in that prison and where they came from.
That's right.
You're not bringing up the right issues. So what makes them win is because they say, we're going to keep talking to the educated people that talk for you because they really don't know. Now, don't bring that Negro like him over there that know. because we ain't gonna be able to run
he's a
all that.
threat. No, he's a threat now.
It's a threat.
Because you know too much.
You know too much.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
no. We become a threat when we know too much, and that's called wisdom. It's already been instilled in you. So you used what was given to you to come back out here and tell us what you're saying right now and what you're sharing in other schools and other platforms.
Some people would say, when you're talking, especially like me, I'm who I am. But normally that would come down to a lot of people. You ever been in a situation where people assume you know it all because you know what you know?
Right.
They don't understand that know-it-all would be, if they looked at the beginning of this video, a know-it-all would be able to say, now what button I press, he would know that. I'm fumbling, this is falling, we got to reset it. That a know-it-all would know that. I don't know that. How to shoot the ball from the three-pointer and make it how many times? I don't know that. How to lift the most weight? That's not what I studied, right? So I don't know it all, but the shit that I do know, I'm sticking to it. And if you want to challenge that, I'm up to any debate with anybody, anytime that want to be on a platform with me talking about real life, because that I know.
That's real
There's
talk.
a difference. There's a difference. So when people do that, I go, no, don't assume that I'm saying it because I know it all. I'm saying, if you can't look at me, right? And if you're close to me and you see me and you ever see me, there's a reason that you should be telling yourself, don't worry, I smoke cigarettes. Don't worry about the cigarette smoke. Worry about the other smoke, because I just came from hell. And that's the smoke you need to be understanding, right? I came out of there. We don't all go through it. Not many of our slaves and people that suffered, Malcolm, and people that got, they don't get to come back. I came back before Jesus came back to say the same thing. So that's a God gift for me. And I misuse it too. I do a lot of stuff because I don't know, because I don't have the people that associate themselves to saying, what is he really trying to say and why is he doing it? When in reality, I can say, I could be on a beach somewhere. I could be anywhere I want to be, doing something different, and leave this alone and never be frustrated about it. But my calling don't have anything to do with a bunch of adults that don't want to hear me. My calling got to do with cashing in the spiritual account of my pledge to say, God, no matter what else goes on with me, I'm going to try to finish this mission until I see you. And I'm going to finish it anyway. And every day, an opportunity. I don't know you from Adam, this comes. It's going to come, because when God wills it your way, it's going to come. And when it comes, you're not going to get around the truth with the national anthem, because everybody out here that talks, they have a national anthem. You ever watch that movie, I'm going to Get You Sucker, and the whole band was following them?
Yeah.
They have that. They have that, right? So you're entertained so much that you can't be heard. I don't want no band. We're going to keep it quiet and get right to the points, right? Where's the money that you took? And then, since you're not looking for any other murderers, then why aren't all the people saying they didn't find the murderer in my case, that lady's case, this guy's case? That means how many? No one's doing these statistics. How many murderers then still out here? See, go Google that. Go look at all of our so-called innocent projects, everything, and see the stats on that. They don't even think to do things like that. Like, let's do the stats on how many of us went to prison and there is nobody else going to prison. That means all those murderers are on the street.
Interesting.
So that means you at more risk. So why ain't you suing the country to say, wait a minute, you put me at jeopardized risk, no different than somebody taking a baby and throwing it in the fire? Your killers are still around you. And some of them may be marching on the Capitol and all that. I want to know, the man that died in my case has a right to get a conclusion. We're not done. Maybe for everybody else, they're done because they're just happily free. I'm really innocent. When you're really innocent, I know what it feels like. No, I want justice for him too.
Right.
I don't want my case to go away. I'm not trying to be quiet and not talk about getting to that. Most people don't want to dig that far. Maybe something come back at you. I don't got none of that. Until death do us part in that. And me and him are in this, and he can't speak and I can speak. And you think I'm going to do time in his name, and that's going to be the end of it? Both of us are not going out like that. We're not going out like that.
Right. And something that I read in part of your, I'm sure there's quite a bit of articles out there speaking about you and how it all started. When you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
The fact that where it was reported crime in 85 and you were convicted in 86 and exonerated in 2019.
October 2nd, which is coming, which is National Wrongful Conviction Day. I fell right on the day. I was convicted on a day that they didn't come up with that till 2/14, and I went, wasn't that something for God to do? Because on that day, October 2nd, I am the guy that was convicted on that day. The day
Wow.
that turns out to be national. So I already know my deal with God. I'm already at the crap table. I'm already winning. The other people just don't see the
Amen.
dice.
Amen.
I
Victory
see
has
it.
been won. That's
I
right.
see it.
And one thing that you stated, and I hear it when I am hearing always people trying to plea bargain for their clients all the time, but you stuck with the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna plead.
Yeah.
Do you
Never.
know how many of our folks, black and brown, have always been offered that plea, even if you are completely 100%
Yeah.
innocent?
I know brothers in
Let's
that
go there.
situation. You know what I mean? The reason I did what I did all the way through, right? Because I looked at it and said, how can I lose? I don't count. You know, I was
Exactly.
in an incident once in jail, and let's just say an incident happened, and I know I was outnumbered, right? And I meant what I said. And you know, I was kind of in a bad situation from someone else's beef. You get caught out in the yard, Spanish guys, let's just say, and I was the black guy there. And you know, when that whole scenario was going on, all I could think of was what I felt, and I was saying to the guy, he was like, "Man, you could get it. You know, let me know. It's too many of us." And all I was doing is saying to him, which he laughed and really worked for me because I went on about my way. But in my mind, I was thinking, no, I counted how many of you guys. It's 7 of you guys, and I believe in God. It's me and God. You don't got enough people. You're gonna physically do this right here, whatever you're gonna do, but it's me and God. Everything I'm gonna go
That's
at is
it.
me and
That's
God.
it.
You're outnumbered starting out. I don't start from low numbers. Either I believe in God or I don't. I think most people believe in God like they believe in Barbie. When the movie come out,
Exactly.
they'll put their money towards it. Barbie made more money. A plastic doll, the idea of her made more money than any of us collectively made together in an entire year.
Isn't that something?
Isn't
Where
that
we put
something?
stock in it. We
They
put
brought
stock
it
in the
right
wrong
back.
thing.
How is that possible in a thinking world? Someone wants me to believe that there's
Mhm.
a bunch of educated people out here who sat back and said, Bobby made 1 point something billion, and all the hungry people didn't say, you mean some made up shit had a better life than I just had?
Ain't that? Oh, that says something around about people.
There's something about people.
That says, and then they're praising it, and then it got me when the fathers were dressed like. His daughter says, "Can you wear pink to go see Barbie?" And I'm like, "Wow, they're idolizing the wrong thing."
But it comes back to the language. How do you separate? You know, remember the Tower of Babel story where
Mhm,
the
mhm.
people got together and they were building their tower to God. And God knocks the tower down. Like, no, no, no. But they were getting together to build that, right?
Mhm.
That's exactly what's happening now. Now you would say, well, everybody believes so much and they got together to allegedly, build this tower to reach God. Why wouldn't he be happy with that, right? Some people, God said, I don't want you reaching me the same way some people's phone calls you don't answer. You
That's right.
understand? When you see it coming and you be like, I ain't gonna answer that right now. I'm doing something. Well, he could look down and be like, there's some other people coming with you that I don't want to see. Right? So we're not going to go up like that. We're not going to go up until everybody can sit down and come and tell me what they got in their spiritual account. I guarantee you right now, if we were on national television, we asked everybody what they had in their account. They'd be able to say, well, I got $10, $1,000,000, whatever, right? And then you said the word to them, what do you have in your spiritual account? They wouldn't even
Mm.
know that exists. First of all, we'd have to explain
I don't know
spiritual.
what that means.
So what are you putting into that? That's why we got
Right.
so many unhappy sisters, so many used up women,
Amen.
so many people
Mhm.
lost, because even if you have somebody you enjoy, it should always feel good in the end. That's the idea. Did you feel better? Right? Do you feel better about it? Did the person mean you harm? These are the things we have to come to. We have to look at, does the person mean us harm, and do they want us to succeed? Not talk about it. Because people that want you to succeed, they usually do things to help you do that. You understand that? People that want you to succeed. Like if you guys been doing this show, people that you might know all your life that know you're doing it, for them, they don't see your vision, right? You know what I mean? They don't see it. They can't comprehend it because it's you. And most people don't be successful. And I want to share this with a lot of our brothers and sisters out there. I learned this from prison, is that, and I learned this from God in prison. In hell, you can learn a lot. I learned a lot in here. And one of the things is, stop talking about what happened where you are. If Jesus, every time, Jesus, whether you think he's a prophet, whatever you think he is, every time Jesus went back home, they never called him Jesus. They called him the carpenter's son. They couldn't accept him being Jesus. Everywhere else, he was Jesus. back home, he was always, that's Mary the carpenter's son. So what I'm saying to you is that if you stay home and believe in anybody around you who's been around you home, and you think I got to make it home, you just the carpenter's son. That's it. That's it.
That's
That's it.
it.
You gotta go out and make them understand what's happening, right? That's where we at. And I
That is
can't
so
do it.
true.
You can't do it. None of us can. We can't do it until we get people that come to this format and be like, you know what? I don't like what you say, but I damn sure know what you meant. And anybody that can say what they mean on the platform should remain on the platform.
Amen to that. And that's
You know what I
real
mean?
talk. My other platform is Real Talk with EVE, and that's
Right.
real talk. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Brother Darrell. So where can we find you? Well, we know how to find you, but
Yeah.
where can others that are watching this show, that are listening to you speak truth, where can they find
So I think the thing that now, so I do a talk show, right? I don't know if I'm not good at none of that. So setting up background, that was kind of done, right? But
you? That's good
so
though. Yes, I
I
like
do
that.
this, I do my radio show, and so I'm doing Wednesdays and Fridays, 1 to 5. And I've had senators and different things, but now I'm really gonna do it. And I use those outlets, Bump That Radio. So bumpthatradio.com. You can go there. I'm
Bump
known as the bad.
that radio.com. Right, bump that
Yeah,
THA.
bump. No. See, I don't use any of those. It's LOL and
Yeah,
DAT. I actually
no,
can
you're spelling
spell,
it
so
all
I
out.
don't.
Right.
Right.
Bump
I actually found
that.
that as an. I actually see that as an out. I said if we kept teaching our kids that, they would never learn to spell anything. Is going to end up being one day just a U. Right. That's that I don't want to use. It's that
Right.
THAT.
Bump
Yeah.
that radio.com. Wednesdays and
Yeah.
Fridays at what time?
So I do Wednesdays and Fridays, 1 to 3 Eastern time. Right, 1 to 3 Eastern time. But my most popular show that I do anyway is Sunday nights. So Sunday nights, music got me through everything. So Sunday nights I do the love session, and I do soul music and everything, and I do that every Sunday, like this Sunday from 7 Eastern to 11. And so what I do is I play music that people might not have heard, and I try to give you the experience of what got me through, because I don't listen to it as music. Every one of the songs that I try to play in some form helped me when my grandmother died, helped me from flipping out. So my mental health was my own, and this music, it served a purpose in that. So that's why I do the Sunday nights. It's called a love session. I try to do it for my sisters. I try to do it to get into Monday. So
The love
other than
session
that,
on Sundays at what time, Brother Darrell?
7 to 11 Eastern. And then you can also hit me up, anywhere on Bump That Radio, but also badboygoodtalk.com.
So the love session is also on bumpthatradio.com.
Yeah, it's Bump That. If you go to Bump That Radio platform, I just started a thing actually on Facebook. I'll give you an invite. So I started the lounge, you know what I mean? The Bump Lounge, because I'm going to have a lot of private things, and especially conversations, right? And so I started the lounge.
Conversations that people can handle. Is that what that is? Is that what you're saying?
Say it again?
I said conversations that people can handle, because not everybody can handle these conversations.
You know that saying, talk to the hand?
Yep. Okay, he rolls a little bit.
Hey, Darrell, music is my therapy also.
Okay, you know that saying, talk to the hand, right?
Yes.
I always look at it like that's the everyday attribute. Our hands don't touch anything unless we talk to them. We tell them, grab that cup, grab this.
That's right.
Using as an example to say I'm in full control of all my faculties, right?
Amen to
And
that.
and being able to do that allows me to be able to say these are avenues. If it was my hope, this is a title, Bad Boy of Good Talk, a title. I've had many of them, right? It's not the title. It's my hope is to do this. And then, you don't eat good in prison. A lot of things could happen. Then if I'm gone, I can say I left something, right, that you can finish. So I do your homework media on there, where I'm doing the media. I watch the news and I follow up. And we need to be doing that because our people are not watching it. So we need more excerpts on what happened in a day in terms that they understand. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get to that, and with anybody that want to do that. So finding me, the police found me when I didn't want to be found. So, anybody want to find me, we'll find me. They'll find me.
I hear you. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'd like to have a continued conversation with you. And
Anytime.
it was very uplifting, and that I can relate to this conversation with you. And hopefully our viewers, our listeners got a nugget out of this, and probably that light bulb went on. At least we hope that it did, and know that there's always hope. I see it. I see the hope in Brother Darrell that he brought here to you, to us. There's always hope. Never give up, no matter how dark your world gets, because there's always light at the end of the tunnel. It may take you longer than others, but you will eventually get there so long as you don't give up.
That's right.
And you know what, and if I can replace my hope, so
Yes.
I'll tell you something better for me than hope.
Please.
That brother beside me would be better than hope. What Jesse Jackson had hope, right? A lot of people had hope, right? I almost believe, this is just me, I almost believe hope is just the idea of how to go to work. It says faith without works is not. I think hope was just the candle, like when they start the Olympics. I think hope is the burning flame saying begin.
Begin.
You know what I
That
mean?
is
So
so
I
true.
want to have that
That
kind of
is
hope.
so true. I love that. Can I take that from you?
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. That is so true. Hope is the starting of something, to start, to begin, and the light is going to lead you.
Otherwise, it's that dream.
Mm.
Because see, hope can't do the same thing the dream does, because we've been keeping hope alive before Jesse and after Jesse.
Before
If we're
that
just
dream
going to
came.
keep doing that, that ain't going to mean anything.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? We all need to visualize the day that Muhammad Ali stood there holding the torch, right, like this. And if he can stand there in that degree, the greatest, and hold the torch like such, then what do we hold? We don't even hold a lighter to make a light to show our people the way out.
Come on now.
So it's a
I
call
love
for
it.
fighters. That's what I'm taking advantage of, right? It's
Yes,
saying,
and you
okay,
are
cool, a call of fighters. You got a platform, I got a platform, they got a platform,
do it.
right?
Do it.
I believe the strongest link, right, is the link that's going to work, not the weakest link. We duplicate that strong link, and if
That's
we
it.
all network and mean it,
That's great.
and
That's
let
right.
people be who they are and do what we do best, we'll be our own media, and that's got to be the goal.
Well, it is there already. Now we just have to connect that link. It
Yes.
is there. We all have a link that now we have to connect.
That's right.
Thank you
That's
so much,
Thank
Brother
you. Thank
Darrell,
you.
for coming on this show, because you are the face of the hero. You have a wonderful, blessed evening.
You too.
Thank you once again. Continue
Thank
to do God's work. Appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful night.
You as well. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. God.
Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. I had just cut you off.
No. I said now I'm going to work on getting myself off. See,
There you
the
go.
know-it-all
All right.
doesn't know that.
You're good. You're good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Take
Bye
care.
now.
Thank you.
You. Wow. That was deep. I love that. I was like, oh, yes, somebody gets me, because I get what he's saying. And for those of you that are like caught on towards the end, go back, hit replay, share this one. He's deep.
Yeah.
But you know what? God put him in the place he needed to go. God already knew that was going to happen before he even thought of it, before he was even born. It was already planned for him to be there. People always ask, well, why did it happen to him? Why me? Why that? Why? God is probably saying, why not? And you see the outcome, right? I mean,
positive attitude that he had, and people complain, oh my God, my toenail hurt, my knee hurts, my this and that, they repossessed my car, whatever, blah blah blah. This guy had, I forgot how many deaths that had gone while he was in there, and he comes out here with his voice. And then on top of it, what stuck with me was what made me more of thinking of him as a hero. He said, I want to find out who killed that person that I was accused of. He would want to find that person. He feels for that person that got killed. I was like, how can that person, and like he said, some people come out and say, oh, I don't want nothing to do with this. I want to be under the radar. But him, he's like, no, he feels for that family. And I was like, wow.
well,
That was,
that's being rich in spirit.
yes.
And that's what we all have to work towards. I am very rich in spirit, that I can have the peace no matter what kind of storm it is, but we have to continue to teach it to others by leading by example. And this brother here is leading by example. And God said, you step up and you be bold. And when you speak with boldness and you stick to the truth, no matter what's around you, what is being said, what is being written, what is being reported, there's only one side, one truth, and that he is sticking with it. And for those of you that heard it, I hope that you you felt that richness of his spirit, and learn from it, because it's not about a religion, people. It's about a relationship, and he and God is in one. And I appreciate what he shared today. May not have been what we may have expected, because this was the time to speak on this platform about his life, but he brought it in a different way that what we're used to hearing. And I'm thankful to that. So let's just continue to share this show. If you guys have a story to share, and I put in all the information on the chats, as far as where you can find him and continue to learn from him, because he is a teaching vessel. Okay, he is truly a teaching vessel.
I did not hear not one pity party of himself in this whole conversation.
No, he used it for what he meant. Because you know what? One of the disciples was thrown in jail, in prison. He was in jail. And he didn't go crazy, but God had him there. God allowed that to happen. And we are in our own prison.
Exactly.
And not even realize it, that it's probably worse in some cases. He said this was Peter that was also put in prison, by the way. He said there's more structure in there than there is out here. That's something wrong here. That just shows. That's like warning, Will Robinson, warning. We're doing something wrong here.
Exactly.
And the wards don't have guns. Did he say that?
Well, I didn't hear that part, but
I thought I heard him say that.
One of the things I did hear him say, that if there was something wrong, they all, they all gathered together, the different races, to demand this is wrong. He said the whites, blacks, Hispanics, whatever, they all bound together to correct things.
And the problem out here is people had gotten so programmed. Look, I have this thing about my politician brothers and sisters. You know who you are, and I'm not here to throw you up under the bus. But when we're doing an event, and I've been saying this on the radio too, Tino, when we're doing an event about the right to vote, then you should all come together. Liberals, Democrats, Republicans, whatever, conservatives, non-conservatives, far left, far right, all come together and only focus on the right to vote, and not focus on, well, you vote for me. And then it's all one party, whether it's all Republican or all Democrat, and we're teaching the community about the right to vote. Why should we vote? No, you're teaching them, why should you vote for me? Why vote for me, and not teach them to think for themselves as to what party is what party and what does it do, what do they represent, and then we can analyze which politician we should vote for.
That's right.
By paying attention to their fruits. You are judged by your fruits. What good have they done? What not so good have they done? How have they expressed themselves? What have they done in the last 5-10 years? You can go as far as 50 years if you want, but what have they done in the last 5-10 years? How can I know that this person is the right person for that job? You ask questions.
You have to educate yourself on the candidate.
It's like an interview. When you're going to apply for a job, aren't you interviewed? Don't they ask you questions about your background? Then go meet your candidates. Ask them about their background. Interview them. Hello. Don't allow them to have you think for them to think for you.
One last thing. When you looking to decide on who to vote for, I'm talking even local. Check out what bills have they supported and not supported. Did they support a bill that is against your livelihood, or did they sign and support a bill that is against your livelihood? Look at their voting records. That's what you want to see.
Unless they're not in politics yet, then you can't find that. Then you still check their background. You look at what they've been producing, what they've been creating, what they've been supporting in the community, what organizations have they belonged to. Hear what they were saying, how they speak, not so much how they articulate, because we are judged by titles. But do they have a heart for people? Listen to them when they're on the platform. Ask questions. Otherwise, how do we get to know who this person is?
Yeah.
Don't just go by a party. people. And so funny. Someone asked me, "Are you going to talk about the debate?" I'm like, "No, we got a guest coming on. I'm not going to talk about the debate, not on this show, but it's about how do we make a change. We always want to see change, but we're not part of that change. As that slogan, be the change you want to see. You know, was that Mahatma Gandhi who said that? Be the change you want to see. I mean, we just say it, but we don't do it.
Right.
Be part of the solution, people.
That's
And
right.
and I mean, Brother Darrell hit the nail on the head, and I was like, yes, yes. Anyway, it is after the hour already. We've passed 10 minutes of the hour from our show, but that's because it was something that we needed to share here, right, Tino? Or Agustin? Sorry. You froze again. You look mean.
Real person.
Well, that was something, and you look so serious because you froze for that second. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on The Face of a Hero. We'll be back next Thursday with some more guests. If you guys,
Thank you again for
yeah,
being the audience.
here's the information down here. Yep, here's the information, 773-809-0106, or hit us on inboxes and tell us that you have a story or you know somebody that should share their story. This is the platform for heroes. Yes, he said he speaks truth. Yes, he said it's not a story, but we all define story just like the greatest story ever told. That was Jesus' story. That means he's experiences. And so he shared his experience in the way that he wanted to share, which he can. This is the platform for the heroes. It's not about Agustin or I. So once again, thank you. Que tengas buenas noches, Agustin. Have a good evening. And you know what? We'll be back when?
Next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
In Central Standard Time. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Till next time.